It is all hands on deck. From this point forward, everything has to go right for the Jaguars to win in advance. We'll discuss that and more in just a second on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, y'all? Well, it's the day before the big game in Kansas City. I am Tony Wiggins, your host of Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast, where it's your team every day. We thank you for making us your first listen and reminding you that we are free on all platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you tap in, like, and subscribe our YouTube page as well. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. So where do I start? Where do I begin? I begin by letting you know that it has to be all hands on deck from this point forward. What I mean by that is the Jaguars are as healthy as they're going to be for the remainder of the season. At best, there are just 3 games left. There's really nothing to hold back for. If you lose, you go home and the season's over. And they have 3 tough, hard games. The harder they get, the less mistakes you can make. Kansas City is better than the Chargers. Both Cincinnati and Buffalo are better than the Chargers. And whoever it would be in the Super Bowl is better than the Chargers. That being said, that means you can't get behind 27-0 and expect good things to happen at this point. That being said, that means you can't throw 4 interceptions and then fumble and muff a punt and give the Chargers the ball in field position that averages in your territory and expect to win. Can't. What has to happen, though? Does that mean you have to play perfect? No, but close to it. The one thing we can't control is the officials. The officiating was terrible last week. Can't control the officials. You can't control whether or not your headset works in Arrowhead. You can't control the crowd noise, right? So there's already enough stuff that the Jaguars are going to have to overcome. First segment, we're going to talk about the stars. We'll bleed that over into the second segment. And then we'll talk about the complementary players that have to step up. And then last but not least, I'm going to tell you whether I really think it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you how it's going to happen in segment 3. I just want y'all to get ready for the game, man. I want everyone to soak it in. We can't get so caught up in whether or not they're going to win or lose, or the anxiety of watching the game play itself out. But you do have to soak this in. There are only 8 teams here. There are 24 teams at home, and your Jacksonville Jaguars are not one of those teams at home. They're playing for something. So enjoy every minute of the lead up to the game. Have fun. If you're in KC, eat some barbecue and enjoy yourself. If you're here in Jacksonville, get your family together, tailgate, get your grill on, get your green egg and all of that stuff going, and soak all of it in. Because I tell you what's going to happen. The stars of this team are going to step up and make you proud. Am I giving it away already? Yeah. The stars of this team will step up and make you proud because they're young, but I think they get it. They've shown you that they're never scared. I believe these guys are going to go out and give you the effort that's going to make you proud. I'm not even going to sit here and hold back until the third segment my prediction. In the third segment, I'm going to tell you how they're going to do exactly what I'm going to tell you they're going to do in 5 seconds. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Jaguars are going to shock the world, and they're going to beat Kansas City. They are going to shock the world, and they're going to beat Kansas City. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And the reason why I believe that is because they have defied all logic of what a team is or isn't supposed to do in order to win games and be successful. And guess what? They've won those games and they've been successful. And I know this is a little bit different, but I beg to differ with people that think that these are the same Chiefs that they were last year and 2 years ago. Them not having Tyreek Hill makes it less likely that they're going to score really, really quick and blow you out. So anytime they make good positive plays are fine, but until they put points on the board, it does not matter, right? I really believe the Jaguars are going to have an answer, not necessarily for Travis Kelce, but an answer for everyone else. I think when they played early this year, they spent so much time trying to stop Travis Kelce that everyone else got off based on offensive design. I think Doug Peterson knows a lot more about Andy Reid than you could imagine. I also believe that Mike Caldwell, who has spent time in Philadelphia as well, he understands the system. And I think more than anything, he's gotten the defensive guys, he's gotten them used to exactly what he expects. And while they're not perfect, they do play a little bit like bend but don't break. So somebody came in here in my office today and it reminded me of something. It said that the defenders are playing well. They said Roy Robinson Harris may have had his best game as a Jaguar, that Josh Allen has played lights out as of late, that over the last 2 months, Arden Key has played well, that right before his injury, Trayvon Walker played well, and then he played well again the other night, that Devon Hamilton is running around playing well. And then that person also pointed me out that Travis Kelce talked on a podcast with his brother about the safeties and said how good the safeties were. He just about mentioned the whole damn team with the exception of Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams, who's played really, really well as of late since he's moved outside. Foye Oluokun leads the league in tackles. So what does that tell you about the defense? That means that right now they are playing as well as they could possibly play, and they're at full strength. The offense has some things that they have to do in this game as well. Eliminate the turnovers and get good play from your best players. Once again, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk. They all got to get off. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do. As much as I like some parts of the Chiefs team, it's not like they got all these juggernauts with the exception of a couple of players on that defense. So I think the Jaguar star players, the guys that I just mentioned, will play extremely well. Who needs to play extremely well for the Jaguars who are not members of that star player category? I'm going to tell you about those guys here in just a second on Locked On Jaguars. First, I got to let you know that today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the flat out truth, man. Prize Picks is my favorite game to play because it is absolutely all about you versus the computer and not you versus 11 other guys. It's a daily fantasy game. And what happens is Prize Picks makes entries using players. And those players have player projections next to their entry. What you have to decide is those player projections that are made by Prize Pick, will the player actually do more or less and get it right? And if you're going to get it right, if you make 2 selections, up to 5 selections, what's going to happen? You bet on yourself is what it is. But what's going to happen is you can win up to 10 times your money if you get them all right. Also pay attention to the flex option where you can actually miss one and still get something back. There's no competing against other people. Just like I said, it's just you versus the projections that are available. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you give them $50, they'll give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match of $100. We thank you for joining us once again, making us your first listen here on Locked On Jaguars. where it's your team every day. Your second listen should be the Locked On NFL podcast. That is a league-wide podcast that yours truly also participates in on Wednesdays, but every day is good because you get all the top stories from around the National Football League and you get it straight with no chaser. Make sure you tap in, and wherever you get your podcast, it'll be free. Sign up for the Locked On Jaguars podcast, like and subscribe the YouTube page as well. All right, some of these role players that we discussed, one has delivered, so you know I'm going to mention him again, and that's Jamal Agnew. He has absolutely delivered in the kick return game. Whenever they need a kick return, I think it was last week, I sat there and I said, if it's 5 yards deep on the kickoff, he has to return it. My buddy sitting next to me in the press box goes, if it's 9 yards deep, he has to return it. And sure enough, at some point when the Jaguars needed plays made, Jamal Agnew started returning that ball out of the end zone and just about every time got it beyond the 25 or the 30-yard line. He makes it appear that he is always about that close. And if you're not watching on TV, I'm talking about maybe a quarter of an inch. He's that close to breaking it. And I think what it does is it shows that we have playmakers too. It shows that it gives the offense a little bit of an incentive to know that, hey, man, you ain't got as far to go. 65 is a whole bunch better than 85, right? Jamal Agnew, I think he's going to be fine. They got to clean up on those punts a little bit because last week what the Chargers were able to do, instead of punting the ball all the way, I think they were trying to punt it short so that it would bounce. One, it keeps the ball out of his hand. But two, a couple of the guys that were running back in order to block weren't looking. And last week, the ball hit someone in the helmet. Jamal Agnew had to run and go and try to recover it. The Chargers got the ball on the 6-yard line, or the Jaguars 6-yard line. Can't happen. That cannot be something that happens again. So they really, really have to watch themselves. They have to conduct themselves accordingly and make sure that they shore that up, because you don't want to give any easy points to KC, especially points like that, because it's going to ignite the crowd and it's going to be crazy. I think I hope the weather is inclement a little bit. I happen to think that the Jaguars play well in inclement weather. They played well. They played okay against Philly in a downpour early this year. They've had some cold weather games as of late because North Florida has felt like the North Pole. And they went out and performed very well in both games, at least in some spurts. Like last week, it was the second half. Like the colder it got, the better they got. So I'm not going to really worry too much about that. What I do want, though, I want to see for the second consecutive week, I want to see if Evan Ingram and Zay Jones will both have a good game on the same day. I think the other day against the Chargers was like the first time it happened. In fact, all three receivers had a good day, including the fourth receiver in Marvin Jones. This one, we're going to need some help. If they line Chris Jones up and move him around, hopefully they line him up where they always line him up, so he'll be over Brandon Sheriff, who's the most experienced lineman they have, who's been an All-Pro. If not, he's going to have to get some help from Luke Fortner. And if not him, sometimes they line him up wide. They're going to have to get Jawan Taylor. Wherever number 95 is tomorrow, one of those offensive linemen who I always consider role players because we don't watch them, right? We watch the ball. Those offensive linemen have to find number 95 and make sure they keep him at bay. I think Frank Clark's going to play. Whoever's not a part of the Chris Jones watch committee is going to have to make sure they get him and watch him. And then you have to watch Steve Spagnuolo with those blitzes. Watch the guys that he has coming off of the corner. Watch the young players or whoever he tries to employ in the slot, because he'll bring them on a blitz. And you also have to watch those linebackers. So, yeah, the role players are going to play a big role, especially the guys you're not watching on the offensive line. On the defensive line, Roy Robinson Harris, come on down and have another good game. Have another good game this week, Roy Robinson Harris. Don't stop now. You had a career game last week. I want you to have another career game this week because they are going to need it. Remember now, DeJuan Smoot, the depth that DeJuan Smoot usually provides at that position to figure that out. Better than I can figure out this damn microphone right now. I tell you that, the microphone falling all over the place. But yeah, those role players, hopefully they didn't use up all of their ability last week, and they'll be able to come out this week and get some things done in the passing game and the running game, and be able to keep Patrick Mahomes from controlling the ball. Keep Patrick Mahomes from controlling the ball and not giving the Jaguars, wearing the defense down and not giving the Jaguars a chance to get the ball back. I'm going to tell you how I think this game's going to go. That's all I have left. All I have left to do, because I know y'all probably sick and tired of me running my mouth about this game. All I have left is to tell you and try to describe the best case scenario of how I believe the Jaguars are going to win this game, because I absolutely do. But it's not enough for me just to tell you that I think they're going to win it. I have to actually tell you how I think they're going to win it and how it's going to go. I'll do that in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars, after I let you know that today's show is sponsored by BetOnline.net, and it is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season, which has passed us. But basketball, college basketball is right there. The All-Star game is getting really, really close. And, of course, the NFL playoffs are coming down to the wire. We've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can even find those at BetOnline as well. Did you see the Celtics and Golden State? Did you see Steph Curry hit the half-court shot? Unreal. Celtics made a tremendous comeback and won it. I got a feeling we're going to see those two teams late in the season once again. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more, because BetOnline is where the game starts. And y'all start here with me every single day on Locked On Jaguars. We thank you for making us your first listen, and reminding you once again to make Locked On NFL your second listen. If you want all the NFL action from around the nation and you want it by the use of Locked On experts, there's no place better than Locked On NFL, Monday through Friday, every single day. Just tap in on all your platforms. It is free, as well as the YouTube page. Like and subscribe. All right, I'm going to tell you how the Jaguars are going to win this game. I thought long and hard about it. Someone asked me today, you think they're going to get off to a fast start? No, I don't. If they do, I don't mind. I kind of don't want them to. And I don't mean I want to get off to a super, super, super slow start either. The kind of start I want them to get off to is one where they're not too far behind. But that they kind of clunk along a little bit, maybe get a couple of field goals. I can see the game being 14-6, down 14-6, right before the half, and they come down and they score a touchdown, and Doug goes for 2 and ties it up. Sounds just like something he'd do, by the way. They go in 14-14. They come out in the second half, force the Chiefs to go 3 and out, use the running game and the short passing game, score a touchdown, get ahead, and now their eyes get wide. And now they got all this confidence. And then here's the tip ball on defense. They get the tip ball, come back down in field goal range, make a kick, go up 24-14. Chiefs fans are like, nah, ain't nothing going to happen. We'll be fine. Hold the Chiefs again, get the ball again and score. It's 31-14. Chiefs make a valiant effort to get back into the game, score a couple of touchdowns. In the middle of the fourth quarter, maybe with 7 minutes to go, they're down 3. The Jaguars get the ball, kick a field goal again. 34-28. Patrick Mahomes has the ball, down 6, attempting to drive for the game-winning score. because a field goal won't do him any good, and he throws a pick in the end zone. Jaguars, 34. Chiefs, 28. Now, if all of that comes true the way I just said it, what are we going to start calling me? What will my nickname be? Because I didn't just tell you they were going to win, and I'm just saying that for optimism. I'm giving you what's in the heart of my heart. I hope they don't lose 45-0, because now it's going to be like, Wig, you said all of that, and it didn't mean anything. They get their stars to play. They get their role players to show up again. All hands on deck, and let the coaching staff just do their thing. They can overcome any and everything that doesn't affect them on the field. Weather, noise, all of that stuff. It does not matter. I think they're going to execute. I think because they're so young and so boisterous. And so I bet they're out there right now in Kansas City sitting in the hotel, whether they're eating or playing John Madden or just clowning around with each other. I bet those young kids got a look in their eye like, we're going to win this game. They had the life scared out of them 2 straight weeks in a row. So now there's nothing else for them to even be fearful of, and they probably wasn't scared then. I hope y'all ain't afraid, because I'm going to do a postcast tomorrow immediately following the game, and I hope it's a good one. It's going to be a good one regardless, because that's where we are right now as fans and media people. This is all good vibes for the Jaguars right now, and I know you guys feel the same way. But make sure you tap in for the postcast tomorrow, win or lose. And it's Duval till we die, baby. Here on Locked On Jaguars. Make sure you tap in. 34-28 Jaguars. We need all hands on deck. Everybody has to play well. They don't have to play perfect, but they do have to play their best. If the Jaguars play the way that they played in the second half last week, they win this game. So that's what I think is going to happen. I know what else is going to happen. Y'all going to be with me as soon as I tap in on the postcast, because y'all are always with me, because it's your team every day and it's your first listen. Until tomorrow, you guys take care. Go Jags.